BHOOTA Namaha. BHOOTA Namaha. He bears all things. And Ekadesi, what is Ekadesi morning without prostrating to our master at Sri Rangam, right? Dushyate yasya nagare rangayatra dine dine tamaham sarasa vande rajanam kulasekaram. Let us prostrate to that master of us sitting, controlling the world in and ruling it from Sri Rangam, right? Not that he needs a place to rule it from. But as I explained last week, 108 holy shrines exist, and we will go through this. Don't worry if you missed it. 108 shrines for Narayana where the Lord Arvars have sung, 106 in Buloka, 105 in India, 1 in Nepal, 2 are outside of human body, are not in Buloka. And the Arvars have sung songs about it. Srirangam being called as the capital city. Srirangam, and somebody can then turn around and say, what about Tirupati? Srirangam is the official capital, it is Delhi. Tirupati is Bombay, which is the commercial capital. So let's go to Srirangam and see what this name means. Bhuta means he who bears all the things. He who bears all the things. Srirangam temple. Let me cover a little bit about Srirangam temple. It is the largest temple complex, Hindu temple complex in the world. 153 acres or 160 acres of temple. Although the Swaminarayan Panta temple in outside Noida is also large, and I saw when I went there, I saw that they were claiming that that's one of the larger complexes as well. But Srirangam, just coming back to the story, it's got 150 acres. You can see that it's a temple town on the banks of River Kaveri. Big temple. Now let's go to the story. What happened there? So it starts with somebody saying, a man who is distributing prasadam in the temple. In all of these temples, you should understand that prasadam, giving prasadam is a big thing. And it's unique not only to the Vaishnava tradition of Narayana. You look at the Punjabi tradition, langar, Sindhi tradition, langar is always a part. You go to the Golden Temple, the amount of food that is prepared and served is phenomenal. You go to, Dharmasthala in Karnataka near Udupi, food is served immensely. You go to Tirupati where we distribute our books. 75,000 people eat every day in Tirupati. Prasadam is always, and that's where our Sanatana Dharma hospitality is. Whenever people come home, we don't send them away without prasadam. So prasadam is very important part of our life, number one. So here, a man was distributing prasadam within the temple, and what he finds is, they find that, there's somebody else making commotion. There's somebody else making commotion there in the temple. Just hold on a second, please. So somebody else was creating commotion, and there was a lot of noise to collect the prasadam. The man who's distributing the prasadam says, hey, don't make noise here, please. You're creating a commotion when receiving the prasadam. This is temple, and please don't make noise here. And he finds that, when he finds that, he's talking to somebody else. The person who's receiving the prasadam is an elderly Vaishnava man who has got 16 children. So he's got 16 children. So, they go to, Ramanuja is now already from Kanchipuram, living in Srirangam, and Ramanuja is told of this incident. Ramanuja calls this old man, and the old man says, Acharya Swami, I have 16 children to feed, 16 hungry mouths to feed. Now, you are saying, don't stay in the temple, don't come here and make noise. How will I feed them? Now, I can't go outside the temple and come back because I won't get prasadam. We have no choice but to live in the temple presence only, please. Don't ask us to move away from here. But Ramanuja finds that everybody in the temple is being disturbed by this family. Imagine family of 16 children living in the temple complex, an amount of ruckus they will create, and the holy atmosphere is being disturbed. Ramanuja calls this person and says, what is the problem? He says, look, I have not studied much, but I have 16 children that I can feed. And unless you find a solution for me, I'm going to struggle with it. Ramanuja then thinks, what can he do? He thinks, Ramanuja thinks, why don't I make this person chant something in mud? You see, typically when you have people going around and doing Vedic chantings, they get food and maybe some money as well. So Ramanuja thinks, Maybe that's an option for this person. And he asked this man, saying, what can you chant? The person says, look, I'm not educated. I can't chant a lot. All I can do is Vishnu Sahasranamam. And Ramanuja says, why don't you chant it? So he starts, the old man starts by chanting, Vishwam Vishnu Vashatkaro, Bhoota Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu, Bhoota Krit, Bhoota Brith. That's all. And he says, I'm sorry, I don't know anything more than that. Ramanuja says, why don't you chant further? And he says, I don't know. That's all I can chant. So Ramanuja's idea, now Ramanuja, the great Ramanuja, realizes that the idea of sending this guy to go and chant and earn his money through chanting is not going to work. So Ramanuja says to him, my child. Ramanuja, if you read the history of Ramanuja, he is full of compassion. And there are many anecdotes during the Vishnu Sahasranama session that we will be talking about the great Ramanujacharya. So now Ramanuja tells this family, my child, don't worry. All you need to do is keep chanting BHOOTA BRITHE NAMAHA. Don't worry, the BHOOTA BRITHE will take care of you. Food will come in search of you. And I will get in touch with you at some stage. But please, I have a request. Don't create a scene in the temple and spoil the atmosphere in the temple. The old Vaishnava then disappears with his family. He is not to be seen in the temple anymore. Ramanuja noticed that that person doesn't come to the temple. And Srirangam complex is very big. So Ramanuja thinks maybe he's gone to another gate and maybe there's some distribution there. He doesn't see him at all. Days pass by like this. The family was never to be seen. And slowly, out of sight, out of mind, people are forgetting that such a family existed. But suddenly something also is happening in parallel. The priests in the temple were noticing that one plate of prasadam was disappearing every day as they were offering prasadam to the Lord in the morning and the evening. And by the time the vessels were being cleaned up, the plate would come back. Mysteriously, the plate would disappear. The prasadam would disappear effectively, but the plate was safe. And now, and the priest first thought that this was an imagination, their imagination. And they then say, it's not their imagination, it is happening regularly. Having ensured this, they go to Ramanuja, they tell Ramanuja, no, there's a particular thief who seems to be stealing the prasadam alone, and the plate is intact. They report this to the great preceptor Ramanuja. And Ramanuja now smiles and says, from when does this happen? Ramanuja's disciples told him, Etraja, this happened the day you spoke to that Vaishnavite person. And you told him not to stay here and you told him to chant this. And coincidentally, as you know, that old man is also not to be seen. So Ramanuja now deciphers where it is and he asks his disciple to find out where this person is. They find out that he is living outside the temple complex on the way to a nearby village under a tree. Ramanuja goes there and he says, hey, old man, how are you doing? And how are you, my child? In a very compassionate voice. Doing well, master, says the old man. The lad comes here regularly with the prasadam, twice per your orders. I am also chanting the Sahasranama as much as I know of it, up to BHOOTA BRITHE. Which lad, says the mystified Ramanuja. What did he say his name was? He says, some long name. He says his name is Aragiya Manavala Ramanujadasan. This, what you see in your screen is that Aragiya Manavalan. Aragiya Manavalan means, Aragu means in Tamil beauty. Manavalan is the grand son-in-law, call it whatever you want, okay? And with that temple, that great Ranganatha is what you see. And what did the Lord describe himself as? Aragiya Manavala Ramanuja Dasan. I am a servant of Ramanuja. See, if you look at the ISKCON tradition, once they are initiated, they will all have, their names will end by Achyut Das, this Das, that Das, to say that they are the servant. If you see our traditional temples and if you see me greeting a priest, I would say Dasan, meaning to say, I am your servant. That the Lord is now telling this person, this old man, that he is Ramanuja's servant and that he's been getting food. He says, the old man says, I don't know his name in full, but after you told me not to disturb the sanctity of the temple and the food will come in search of me and my family, I came to reside in this bush. I told my wife that food will be supplied to here, but she would not believe me, for I had not informed you on where I was going. I told her that Ramanuja has asked me to do it, so food will come, believe in it. And all I had to do was chant BHOOTA BRITHE NAMAHA. look, how noble of you, great Ramanuja, that you have been sending the food regularly to me here. And here I am, here I am. When I asked that lad about his full name, the Lord said, call me only Aragya Manavala Ramanuja Dasan. But whenever the boy comes, I could notice something. I could feel the fragrance of Lord Ranganatha's Tulasi. When he stands before me, I feel that the great Ranga, the Lord which is lying down, is in front of me and come up with me. Where is Bhuta? Has he come with? And the old man is asking, where is that Lord? Where is that lad? Where is the boy? Has he not come with you today, Ramanuja? Where is that boy? I want to see him. Ramanuja was overwhelmed as I'm speaking about this story. You can't not speak about the story without tears. So Ramanuja is overwhelmed and he slowly walks towards the temple deep in reverence and he's praying to the Lord. Oh my dear Lord Aragya Manavala, you prefer to be called as Bhuta and you carried the prasadam on your head to feed this poor soul in honor of my words so that they could get food and become full of faith in you and me. Ramanuja, says the Lord. The Lord is now speaking to Ramanuja and he says, I did not do it merely to honor your word. Say, Vedavyasa has included the name Bhuta in the 1,000 names he has given me. You know what it means. I am the feeder of all. I am the feeder of all. I thought I would illustrate this with an incident. And what better audience could I have than to enact this through you, O Ramanuja? So I used the opportunity to do that. So, we have midday meal schemes. We have Akshaya Patra, which is giving food free for children. All of this originated only through the grace of the Lord and what this story narrates. The story, beautiful story of the Lord narrating his glory that he is the BHOOTA BRITHE NAMAHA. Chanting this name will take away hunger. Whenever you see poverty, whenever you see hunger around you, think of the master and chant BHOOTA BRITHE NAMAHA and bless the surrounding around you so that we are the hunger disappears from the scene. Okay? So